all cleaned up. Inside of it was just a wreck from last time when we blew up the car. So we went ahead and cleaned it up, take it to the house and load up the car. So I get my brand new fittings in. These are the old ones, so these are these aluminum ones. I'm getting rid of these. Don't use the aluminum ones. They freaking suck, man. Order steel. Pump it all up, and now I don't think nothing's leaking. But then I forgot that this is leaking. So this is the part that tells the brake lights to come on. It's dripping out around this black one. Fortunately, I do have an extra one of these. So now I've got to change this guy too. But it's just like unreal, man. I cannot get, every time I turn around, it's another freaking leaking part of the brake system. All right, so we got her inside this morning. I'm borrowing Mike's lift, and I'm gonna knock these tasks out. So we have got to get an engine limiter bar in here. So we're gonna connect it up here to the factory motor mount points and get some kind of point here where we can build a bar that'll come out here. And I think I'm gonna try to get it to clamp around this tube with my clamp, so I don't actually have to weld to this chassis or anything. I think that will work. Should be decent. I really need it over here. Might have to cut 1 1/2, but light for be over here. I don't know. We're gonna see. But that's the plans for right now, is to try to get an engine limiter bar in here first, and then we have to weld up the wishbone. So I've got some of it welded at the house. Basically, I did it like that. So my welds are not pretty. I'm not a welder, but I want to get in here on the insides and weld. And then like this one right here, I've only got some tacks on it, so I need to get across the top and the inside of there also, get all that stuff welded up while it is here. So right now I am taking my first idea is I'm gonna take the factory motor mount off of one of my spare Coyotes, and think about just using this point right here somehow. So that's what I'm doing right now. At least if anything, it'll be a template. So I'm gonna get this thing taken apart. Now a lot of people will be like, dude, why won't you just cut some flat plate and build that mount? Because I hate drilling. I hate drilling more than anything. I hate getting the holes correct and everything, so I'd rather cut this bad boy down. And I'm just trying to do something quick. I'm not really worried about weight on this one since everything bolts on and unbolts. I would love to go back and remake all of this out of aluminum at a later date. As you know on the channel, I can't TIG aluminum yet. Mike does, and Mike's not here. So I'm gonna TIG this with the Chinese Harbor Freight welder. Not TIG it, I'm gonna MIG it with a Chinese Harbor Freight welder and get this thing where it functions and it works and it does its job, and not be too obsessed over weight on this. But I mean, who knows, maybe we'll never change this. I don't know, but I like that. That's the factory piece, factory thickness. I'm using the factory bolts, so everything is going to bolt back to the block exactly how it was from the factory, exact location. I'll weld a bolt to this to put the Heim joint through, and then all we got to do is go to the front. All right, so we got one side done. So it bolts up like that, and then we'll weld a rod to the end of this. Like I said, we can always go back and either, you know, all this stuff unbolts, so we can change it. We can make changes, but this is just gonna get us done today. we're gonna weld probably rod flat to that. So I like it, man. Nice thick. I ain't got to worry about none of this breaking. 2 bolts in the block instead of previously we just had 1, but we also were just using aluminum. I think this is an extreme overkill. I don't think I need anything this big by any means, but yeah, it's a straight shot. So that's pretty much a straight shot through the front. So all we gotta do now, the wife is bringing the other one from the house. I forgot because mine is too wide, I think. So she's bringing me a single. I think I'm gonna weld tabs to, and then we will bolt this side up and get the distance between the two. So I got all the wishbone stuff welded up. I am not a welder. Man, I am not a welder. Hopefully my junk don't fall out going down the track. But there's some fat bubble gums on all of them, so hopefully they hold. That one looks nasty where it was sagging down, but hopefully she'll hold. So we're gonna let all this cool off and then get this painted so it don't look so freaking bad. We're gonna rattle can it. I built my other piece, was letting it cool down while I was welding that. Tore my finger up earlier, about took the freaking skin all the way down to the bone, using the impact gun and wrench trying to hold it in my hand. This is flipped around backwards. I just put it there so it won't warp. But yeah, I just welded 2 tabs to it. This is going to be what bolts our front chassis and connects our bars. So let's throw this in and figure out our bar length. All right, so we got the engine limiter bar in finally. I don't know if I've ever seen one as big as this. This one's pretty big, but it gets the job done. So it bolts in pretty easy. It's not really that hard at all. You got plenty of room to put your hand up in there. And then it goes over here to the chassis. And of course I use one of my clamps. Like I said, I really like these clamps so I don't have to weld all over the chassis every single time I make changes or move something. Huge fan of them. I think that works. I think that's gonna work perfect. The just butt welding worked out. I did bevel the end before I butt welded it so you get plenty of weld in there. But man, that thing is don't think that thing's freaking going anywhere. So that's one item done off the checklist. I got all this painted up back here. It is done, all painted up. We're about to throw in the wishbone in it. Or I keep saying we. I'm about to throw the wishbone in it. And then I think this thing can come down. All right, so this little fitting keeps leaking on the overflow thing. It's not leaking, it's stripped out, I should say. I know it's gonna leak. So Mike's not here to weld, so we're gonna use our panel bond. Panel bond is as strong as weld. We've went over it a million times on the channel. So we got 90 minutes work time, 4 hours clamp time, 24 hours for it's fully cured. So I'm gonna just literally just put a little bit around the threads like you would do thread sealant, and we're just gonna screw it in and let it cure up overnight. All right, so all I do is literally just take it and just screw it in. The threads barely bite right there. So we're just gonna leave it and let that dry. And it's pretty much like JB Weld for anybody that don't know what panel bond is, but let that dry and it should be as good as weld. Afternoon, man, with this car. So it was just like panicking and scrambling as always to try to get out of here, and there was no filming. So we go to put the car in the trailer, we go to winch it in, and it gets almost the back tires over to the edge, and then the winch stops working. So we're thinking dead battery. We throw a jump box on it, not helping. Look in there, the wire has spooled all the way up to one side, jamming it up so it won't turn. So start to try to spool it back out, not working. Look harder and closer at it, the cable has jumped off of the spool and is wedged between the body of the winch and the actual roller. So I'm trying to get it undone, screwdrivers. It's just pouring out like aluminum or steel shavings from the bottom. Like the pulley is just, the spool is just cutting the cable where it's jammed in between the body and the spool. And finally, me and Eddie use a winch, or use the ratchet straps to get it up over, get it in there, and just pull it in and strap it down. So I guess I'm either gonna jump in it and coast it out in neutral at TKM tomorrow, which I really don't want to do because of how low the car sits. I really like to winch it in and out, but we're gonna have to try to pull it out, or just crank it up and pull it out or something. Man, it sucks because it's always the night before you have to be somewhere, something's gonna go wrong. So fortunately I have a warranty on the winch, but I don't have time necessarily to change the winch out now. So I mean, I guess I could have, it took time to change it out, but I want to get home. It's like 5 o'clock. So running up here to the gas station up the road, see if they have E85. I heard they supposedly do, this other little store. But if not, then tonight I still have to run into Wilmington and get E85. Man, I'm telling you, the struggle to, it's always just right at that last minute to get a car to the dyno. And I mean, I worked on this thing all day long today, including trying to figure out a couple issues with the trailer, and still didn't make it. Still didn't get everything done, and now have a tore up winch. Well, they say to race that you have to love work and hate money. So cheers to a winch swap out the night before we go to the dyno. Well, instead of being on the live chat with y'all, we just left Harbor Freight. We're grabbing some E85. Now up here at the gas station and getting back to the trailer so we can swap this winch out. Sitting in traffic behind a McLaren in Wilmington, and I swear it makes you think that one day the goal is to put the gap on one of these guys on the streets. Just wait and watch. Just wait and watch. I'm determined. Oh man, I don't understand why it's always like this. Just makes you wonder, like, why, no matter how much you do ahead of time, why when it comes down to the last 24 hours, the last 16 hours, whatever, how is it that we are always running behind and something always throws a wrench in the equation? And the situation is, we had unloaded this trailer, backed it up to the fence, parked it so that it was ready to go in the morning, because I wasn't going to do this originally. After talking to the wife, I figured I might as well do it. So now I literally have to pull this truck back forward, unload this trailer. Like, I have to unload the back enough to back the car out, or back it up a little. I can't let it go down the ramp by myself right now, but back it up so that I can work in there and then put it all back. I don't know if I'm gonna get it all put back tonight though. It might be a morning thing. I guess let's get after it. So now I got the car rolled back enough to work on, but not out of the trailer. Look at this mess. So this is the mess. It is a big, tangled up, messed up mess. So let's get this thing out. Look at what that one did. The other one just straight up messing, fraying up the cables bad. Like, how does it even jump behind there? We're gonna look at it more later, but like, I have no clue how that thing even jumps behind there and does it stay in between that. How is this my luck? Look at the holes, and look at the holes on this side. They're not lined up. Look at that. Well, it's kind of hard where the camera's at. They're not lined up. The new one has less of a spread than the old one. Goodness gracious. Oh, there we go. That is gonna be it. We got a working winch for in the morning. Let's get to the house.